One of the tricky tasks in this field of software development, especially if you're a beginner in this field, it is coming up with a quotation for a job that maybe of developing a system. Maybe a client amekuapproach and they want you to develop a system for them. So wamekuuliza come up with a quotation, your budget, and nikulipe tuanze kazi. Or maybe they've seen your systems, the products that you've developed, and they want to buy one of the system. So coming up with a quotation or maybe pricing your system, it's a tricky thing for the software developers, especially if you're a beginner. And if you're an expert na unaona hii video, at least hapo kwa comment section hebu tuambie how was your first time, how it was, how you did it, and how you normally navigate on these kind of tasks. But I would like to share my thoughts because this is a question that even wase wanga wananipigia simu wananiuliza how they will going to quote, or maybe ukiangalia hata kwa most of my videos kwa comment section, people are asking me to do a video about this, how to do the pricing, and I got you. So I would like to share my thoughts, at least we learn from each other. So hapo kwa comment section feel free to say something, utuambie how you normally do it so that we can grow the industry together. One of the things that I normally consider is first of all how the client approaches me. There is a client who doesn't know anything, and what they are looking is a system that will help them to solve a certain solution, a certain problem. So it might be maybe they are looking for a point of sale for their business, or maybe it's a school, they have a challenge in keeping records manually, or maybe it might be a hospital which is looking for to digitize their operations. So already these kind of clients, they are straightforward, they need a specific system, and maybe this is a system that you have already developed. Like as I said, I have got like a point of sale, and we have got the SACCO management system, hospital management system, among other systems. When you go to my website, codestar.co.ke, you'll be able to see some of them, and there is a demo where you can interact with them. Now, if a client is straightforward like that, then, and you already have the system, I would like to advise you the best way is to go through the subscription method. The subscription is one of the best way because you will be compensated enough, and it is flexible because the more they grow, you can still review the pricing of the subscription fee based on how you interact with your client. So that is the best method. I would advise you to do that. But now there is another scenario where you find that the client, they want your service, that is they want you to develop the system, so they come up with an idea, and wengine wanakwanga wajanja sana, they come with a disclosure agreement, NDA. So in such a scenario, what they need is you to develop the system, alafu ende zako wewe uachie source code and everything. So I know that one will be very tricky, but how you can navigate on this one, I would like to share 4 points which can help you, or 4 factors that I normally consider when I come up with a price for this kind of systems. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to overcharge, end up lose the client. Also, you don't want to undercharge, uweze kupoteza an opportunity that you could have maybe reaped enough to compensate yourself in this profession. So that's why it's very tricky, as I said. And the 4 factors that I normally consider, one of them is the complexity of the system. So the more the system is complex, the more you will charge more, because it means it will need more time also for you to develop. And what I normally do is to break down the systems into modules and then come up with a minimum price per module. The module that needs less time, or maybe it will take less time for me to develop, or maybe it has few features, then I will come up with a rate per module. So like for example, let me give you a small example. If it is a school system, I can say maybe I will break it in terms of the users. Like for example, I will have the teachers module, I will have admin module, I will also have maybe student portal, I will also have maybe library module, accounting modules, things like those ones. So I will come up with minimum price per module. Like for example, in most cases, I kind of say if it is like the login part of the system, I will charge like 20,000 Kenyan shillings to develop that. I know most of you are shocked. As I say, it's an easy task, but login is very complex. It's not that easy. Remember, it can take you almost 3 days to implement that one as a beginner. Because first of all, you need to handle the registration of the users. Then there is the verification. Maybe you might be doing using the OTP, or maybe it might be sending an email, verification email. So it means you have to integrate with the email. And also now there is that the process of logging in, where you have to authenticate, authorize, something like that, those kind of things. So it's not that easy, it is sounds, but it can be complex. So in such a scenario, if I say the minimum amount which I can charge, maybe it's 20,000. So if I go to maybe accounting, student portal, teachers portal, admins portal, library portal, maybe I can quote like 50,000 for those modules, something like that. So it will total up maybe to something which is like over 300,000 Kenyan shillings, something like that. So in such a scenario, you'll find that at least hata ukiangalia most of the software engineers kwa big corporates, mshahara inaanzanga maybe somewhere to do with 250, 300, something like that, ikipanda tu juu. At least mtu anaweza songa all the way 700, 800. Even you can be paid more depending on the position that you hold. It can be maybe the CTO and so forth. So still you are within the average part. But also there are other factors that you need to consider. That is one method that you normally use, one of the factors that I normally consider, the complexity of the system. The second factor that I normally consider is the cost. The cost can be in terms of maybe if there are features which I'm not going to implement or I'm not capable of implementing, but I know someone who can do it for me, then I have to ask how much can it cost. That is one of the external costs. Maybe if you're working with other developers, then you'll need to know the cost. Also, there are other costs, like for example, if I will need to host the system for my client, then there is the cost for the domain name and plus hosting, and it will depend if they need to use cloud, shared hosting, VPS, any of those, it will depend. So I have to come up with a rough figure which is not going to be like ni kama natoa pesa yangu kwa mfuko. So that one you have to consider also. And also there are some APIs where you find that you will need to pay something for you to use the APIs. Like for example, some of the APIs like SMS APIs, if they will need to use SMS, then your cost maybe inaweza kuwa inakuja kwako maybe kama wewe ndio unafanya hosting. So in such a scenario you have to budget for the SMS. So in case maybe your provider anakupea SMS 1 bob per SMS, then you have to maybe rate it at 2 bob so that you can be able to handle that kind of part. Now the other part is the other point apart from the costs, which I normally consider, is time and place. As you all know that when you are selling your goods or services, time and place matters a lot. Like for example, I normally give the example of coffee. A cup of coffee in a 5-star hotel, it will go maybe for like it might cost you something to do with maybe 2,500 Kenyan shillings. But now there is a scenario where sorry, there is a scenario where you find that maybe ni kwa kibanda, the same cup of coffee might be going for 20 shillings or maybe 100 no 50 bob, something like that, depending mahali unakunywa. So the same it applies when you are selling the systems. If and when I mean a place, I mean you need to consider not the place where you are selling the system from. Like for example, it might be like maybe uko somewhere in Westlands. So it means maybe client mwenye unamuuzia ako somewhere kwa mababi, where kwa Masongo, where rich people reside, or maybe you are selling it to a big institution. Nikiuzia mama wa kibanda, or maybe someone mwenye anaanza kutoka kwa hoteli ya mabati, niuzie mtu ambaye anataka system kutoka kwa hoteli ya mabati, that is a kibanda, ni anataka kuimprove kidogo, afungue mlango mahali. It's not the same way I'm going to rate the same, I'm not going to give them the same price yenye nitapea watu wenye maybe the big 5-star hotels. It is going to be different. So it depends mwenye una serve ni nani. I have to check, so I have to do my background check to get to understand better the institution, how it normally makes money, the capability of your client. That's another thing that you need to consider before now you come up with the price. And also when it comes to time, it is maybe uko busy. Unaweza kuwa maybe you are held by other projects, and those projects zinaweza kuwa those projects zinaweza kuwa zinakulipa poa, so you cannot start getting other project uanze kudileisha projects za my clients. It is not a good thing. So the time at when they are coming, and you have got some projects that you are working on, then it might not be good for you to rate a small amount. You have to find a way that, because maybe you might need to hire people ndio muweze ku meet deadlines. Again, when it comes to time, still there is a scenario where you find that amekupata uko down kama beginners, unajuanga tu obvious pesa ni kupata ni ngumu, and in such a scenario then pia itabidi tu umeenda tu chini to a point that maybe mnaweza. Yes, I understand that one. I think you understand that one. So as I said, the complexity of the system, the costs which you might incur, and now we have got the time and place. That is the client mwenye una serve na amekuja wakati wewe uko wapi. Maybe unaweza kuwa ndio unaanza, or maybe unaweza kuwa umefika to a middle level. Then uta have to, maybe kama analipa less, uta have kumwachilia aende kwa the young guys wenye wana grow pia. Then we normally have something else which we normally call rate card. So long as you are in this field of software development, you'll get to know your worth. It's like, for example, ukienda kwa interview wanakuulizanga your salary expectation. So the same way in this industry of software development, maybe if you're working as a freelancer, you'll find that unakuanga na rate card maybe per hour, something like that. So maybe like you charge 1,000 Kenyan shillings per hour to solve a certain problem, or maybe to work on a specific project. In such a case, then you have to specify, like for example, if it's 1 hour, then piga hesabu yako, system itachukua how long, calculate based on your hourly pay, and you are good to go. You can come up with the price for your for the system. And the other thing is that I normally say, like for example, here in Kenya, for a website, the minimum you can charge is 15,000 for a one-page website, because obvious utahitaji kulipia hosting plus the domain name. That hiyo inakukula saizi kama almost 5,000 because of taxes. That is buying a shared hosting. Then 10,000 will be just for your labor. Maybe it depends. Kuna wale wase wanasema wanafanya na WordPress, or maybe whichever tool that you're using, it doesn't matter. I'll still say that can be the minimum amount that you can charge, 15,000 kama umeenda chini as a beginner. At least ndio hata wewe uanze kufeel utamwa kuwa in this industry. For the systems that has the backend, yani iko na database, iko na backend, that is you're using a backend programming language like PHP, Java, Node.js, that is JavaScript, the Java itself, then C#, or any of those Python, any of those backend programming language, it will be required, and maybe you have got the front end part. So such a kind of a system which we normally refer to as a web application. It has got the database, the backend, and the front end. If it has got just maybe like one module plus the login, something like that, I can say maybe the minimum that you can charge is around 50,000 Kenyan shillings. But still, unajua ina depend venye umevaa kiatu yako. So if you are starting, maybe it might be difficult, because one thing you'll agree with me is it is very hard to get a client. It's not that easy. Marketing is one of the toughest thing, and I will talk about it in another video. But I hope you have learned something. On the limit, there is no limit that you can charge in terms of the highest limit. For example, like right now, unajua SHA wana charge 150 billion Kenyan shillings, which might be too high for a Kenyan economy, but still systems zinauzwa pesa mingi. If you think about how much YouTube was sold, or maybe how much Facebook bought WhatsApp, Instagram, and which other? How much Elon Musk bought Twitter and so forth, you'll find that it's very, very expensive. Although that's kind of a brand and it has got some other things, but still you can say it's a system. So that's why I'm saying it's not, there is no limit of what you can sell your system. Now, thank you. I hope you have learned something. Maybe at least kama wewe it's your first time now, you have somewhere to start from. At least share your thoughts. If you are an expert in this field, at least tuweze kulearn from you also. So thank you, and make sure you follow, subscribe to all our social media platform for more tech videos like this one. Thank you.